Remember when App State pulled off the biggest upset in college football history? Or when App State won 3 straight FCS championship games from 2005 to 2007? Or maybe when their university became the first one in FCS history to have back-to-back Walter Payton Award winners? That's the FBS Heisman equivalent. Well, this all points back to one man, and his name was Armanti Edwards. He was the quarterback behind most of Appalachian State's success in the mid to late 2000s, and in my opinion, the greatest player in FCS history. So today, I want to tell you viewers the story of Armanti Edwards and how he left a lasting impact on the sport of football. To start this video off, I think there's one key decision that changed his entire career. Senior year of high school, he moved from wide receiver to quarterback, which kind of affected his recruiting. He drew interest from some FBS schools like South Carolina, Vanderbilt, and Memphis, yet the only school to offer him at the FBS level was New Mexico State, and they wanted him to move back to wide receiver. Fortunately enough, Appalachian State were also a contender in his recruitment process, and they wanted Edwards to stay at QB, so Armanti committed to App State. Then in 2006, he got the dream of every recruit. He got to start as a true freshman. Yet it wasn't until the Mountaineers' third game of the 2006 season against Mars Hill when Edwards actually became starter, and the rest was history. First ever college start, he had 253 total yards and 2 scores. App State won this game 41-0, then finished out the regular season play going 8-0 with a total record of 10-1. During this 8-game stretch, Edwards broke nearly every App State freshman QB record: passing yards, total offense, completions, TD passes, and rushing yards. His efforts helped App State finish with the 1 seed in the FCS playoffs this year. Game 1 beat Coastal Carolina 45-28. Game 2 against Montana State won 38-17. Semifinals beat Youngstown State 49-24. So no real competitive games. Edwards in these 3 games had combined stats of 469 passing yards, 4 passing touchdowns, and 401 rushing yards with 6 rushing touchdowns. During the playoffs as well, he actually became the 5th player ever in FCS level and 2nd freshman to pass for 2,000 yards and rush for 1,000 yards in a season. But now, championship time against 3-seed UMass, where Armanti did not record any touchdowns. Had 227 total yards though, and the team still won 28-17, making it back-to-back titles. His stats at the end of the season included 2,251 passing yards, while also gaining 1,153 rushing yards, getting 15 touchdowns in both categories. Besides being a national champion, Edwards also won the Southern Conference Freshman of the Week 5 times, won the Conference Freshman of the Year, the National Freshman of the Year, and gained first-team All-Conference honors. Not a bad freshman season if you ask me. Bang. The greatest upset in college football history happened Game 1 at Michigan. At the next 2 games against Lenoir-Rhyne and Northern Arizona, Edwards missed with a shoulder injury that had been affecting him since preseason. He came back against Wofford and played not good. The team lost, then he was out again the next 2 games against Elon and Gardner-Webb. Edwards came back for good with his first game against Georgia Southern, where the team lost against them, but he didn't play bad this time, actually setting the ASU QB rushing record with 220 yards. Then after a win at Furman, Edwards shattered his ASU and Southern Conference record for rushing yards in a game against Citadel with 291 yards on 21 attempts. Following Citadel, the Mountaineers won their last 2 of the regular season games, finishing with a 9-2 record, earning the 5 seed. James Madison was App State's opponent round 1 of the playoffs, and where the Mountaineers' season almost ended. With less than 2 minutes in the game, trailing 27-22, and it being 4th and 3, Edwards completed a pass to Devin Moore to the 5-yard line. Then Edwards rushed it in for his 3rd touchdown of the day, leading to the 28-27 victory. Another close game in the quarterfinals against Eastern Washington, but App State pulled off the 38-35 win behind Armanti's 347 total yards. Semifinals was a relaxed game for the team, but Edwards put together one of the greatest individual playoff performances ever, as Edwards totaled 495 yards of offense, 313 rushing yards, 182 passing yards, as well as scoring 7 touchdowns, leading to the 55-35 win over Richmond. This championship game was also not even close, as the team faced 12-seed Delaware and won 49-21. Edwards finished this 2007 season with 1,948 passing yards and 1,588 rushing yards. This was 3rd all-time by a quarterback. Then he had 28 total touchdowns as well. Only 2nd-team All-Conference this season, but he was 1st or 2nd-team All-American depending on the outlet. 2008 then became his first Walter Payton Award season. After a sort of slow start the first 3 games with a loss at LSU, win versus Jacksonville, then another loss against James Madison, totaling just 551 yards, Edwards flipped an entire switch. James Madison became the last regular season game that he threw an interception, and the Mountaineers capped off said regular season by winning 9 of their last 9 games. And on a Friday night on a national televised game against 3-seed Wofford, ASU won 70-24, and here, Edwards became the Southern Conference all-time leader in total yards, surpassing the previous mark of 9,370 yards. Edwards in this 9-game stretch would amass over 1,800 passing yards with 22 scores, then 680 rushing yards with 8 scores. However though, Edwards did not play their last game against Western Carolina as he sustained a knee and hip injury the week prior against Elon. This injury would definitely limit his mobility aspect for the playoffs. App State was the number 2 seed in the playoffs this season and beat first-round opponent South Carolina State by 16 points. Armanti passed for a school record 433 yards and completed a career-high 29 passes. Then 7-seed Richmond was next, and where it was a very rough game. The Spiders limited him to just 3 rushing yards and where he threw 5 interceptions. Richmond ended up winning 33-13 and also won the championship this year too. Despite the rough end of the season, junior year stats included 2,902 passing yards with 30 touchdowns, rushing for 943 yards, adding another 11 touchdowns. As mentioned just at the start of this season, Edwards won the Walter Payton Award, and by a landslide, gaining 53 first-place votes to 17 from second place. He also became the first App State player to win this award. He was named consensus first-team All-American and All-Conference, as well as being the Southern Conference Offensive Player of the Year. Final year in Boone, North Carolina for Armanti Edwards. Again, this season in 09 started slow with back-to-back losses against East Carolina and McNeese State. On a good note, they lost to FBS East Carolina by 5 without Edwards, as he was out with an ankle injury, and McNeese State was also ranked in the FCS. Just like his junior year though, the team turned it around and were once again won the last 9 games in a row, with Edwards playing out of his mind during these games. 2,269 passing yards with 10 touchdowns through the air, 506 rushing yards with 14 touchdowns on the ground. Deja vu right now because the Mountaineers again played South Carolina State first round of the playoffs, and again, Edwards did, enough. Armanti had -1 rushing yards this game with 2 interceptions, 218 passing yards and a touchdown. Appalachian State still escaped 20-13. Game 2 was against the Richmond Spiders again. This game saw the Mountaineers be down 31-28 with 10 seconds left on Richmond's 4-yard line. Edwards then threw a perfect pass for a touchdown, and ASU escaped with a 35-31 win. A total of 51 rushing yards and 216 passing yards for the man of this video. Unfortunately, the luck ran out in the semifinals at a snow-filled Missoula. The Montana Grizzlies were the 1 seed these playoffs, and App State was keeping it close at a 17-17 game going into the 4th quarter. Neither team could really get any offense going until Montana's final drive, where they scored a touchdown with a minute 30 left. Edwards actually led a historic drive all the way down to the Grizz goal line, but the last pass of the game with 2 seconds left went through his receiver's hands for the loss. Sort of sad that's how the game ended, as Edwards put together 407 total yards this game. The team just couldn't put any scores together when needed. As for Armanti, his season stats included the most passing yards in a season by him at 3,291 yards, which was a school record, yet only 12 touchdowns. Then he added 679 rushing yards with 18 rushing touchdowns. 2009 became his back-to-back Walter Payton Award-winning season, becoming the very first FCS player to do so. Since 2009 was his senior season, Edwards' career stats stood at 10,392 passing yards with 74 passing touchdowns, completing 65% of his passes, and having 4,361 rushing yards with 65 rushing touchdowns. He also went a crazy 42-7 and 49 career starts for the Mountaineers over his 4 college seasons. When Armanti graduated, he held 64 school records and 14 Southern Conference records. Edwards also graduated at the time with the second most yards of total offense behind Steve McNair and is still the career passing yard leader at Appalachian State. Armanti went on to spend time in the NFL and I'd say have a successful CFL career. It's a little sad that not many college football fans know about Armanti Edwards or those App State teams. Edwards made Boone, North Carolina the epicenter of FCS football for a couple of seasons, and where he is the only player that doesn't get the flowers he deserves. I hope you viewers will now remember this record-setting dual-threat quarterback who left a legacy on the game we love. If you wouldn't mind hitting the like button, the subscribe button, and hitting the bell notifications. Thank you.